Good evening, everybody. Welcome to PatFacts. Patrick here, pat on your back. Personal fitness. How's your vision? Can you see okay? Hopefully you can see me. Hopefully you can hear me. Tonight we're going to talk about vision. Vision board specifically. Yes, we've finally been able to do it after months and months of talk and hype and teasing. Blake and I were finally able to get our schedules set and coordinated to get together. So a good friend of the show, Blake Miles, is on. This is, I think, Blake's second official appearance, and he has one unofficial appearance where he kind of invaded the show one day as he was playing on Instagram trying to figure out some buttons. So I think Blake is tied now for the most appearances on the show, probably with our Terry Fox Foundation individuals. So get your notepads, get your pens, your paper, get your phones, however you want to take some notes. I've done vision board workshops with Blake in the past. They're great stuff. He has great insight, pun intended, on them, and you're going to learn a lot. You're going to put in perspective how uncomplicated a vision board can be. At least that's what I thought, and it made it a lot easier to get that process going. And I know some of you have been working on it since we mentioned it back in the fall. So please send any questions you have into the chat, and we'll get those answered and looked after. And without further ado, we'll bring in our pal Blake. Good evening, Blake. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. I wore my fedora.
You're so festive.
Laura calls it my New Year pimp hat. But
nice.
Pimps wear feathered Panamas. This is a fedora. This is more my Michael Bublé, Frank Sinatra.
Yeah.
Happy New Year hat. So
does that make us the Rat Pack?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Exactly. Yes. So anyway, take that off. So I had to be, this is not only my first on screen of the new year, but my first on screen in a while, because I've been a little busy screwing up my life for the last few months. So no, I'm kidding. Relocated. So not only is the background different, I'm actually in a different place.
Oh, nice.
Place altogether, different studio, different house, you name it. So. But when I made my triumphant return to video, obviously it had to be with you. So
well, appreciate that. Thanks.
You were always my first. So
don't tell Chris.
Oh,
I was gonna make another math joke of like it's the 2/5 of the not so wise men again, but it didn't work the first time, so I didn't bother.
Yeah, that seems like such a long time ago.
It does, yeah. It's funny to see some of the memories pop up on social media of some of the videos and the content, and it was fun.
I noticed it just started popping up. I'm watching episodes. Whenever they share them, it's like, oh man, that was so funny. Yeah. That was a good time. We got a lot of people through the pandemic with that show, I think. So,
and we have a lot of viewers here from that as well, which we always appreciate. So it's been nice to see.
Yeah. So. Yeah, it was a great way to pass the torch from the Three Wise Men over to you. I mean, you were doing PatFacts while we were doing it, but when we wrapped it up, I think we told people, hey, keep going with Pat and continue. And I love that. I love that flow. People, we were escapism, and then if the pandemic cleared up, people were looking for something with a little more meaning, a little more oomph and impact in their life. So it was a great transition to come out of that escapism and come and follow you here. With your great fitness tips and your life tips and everything, and it's wonderful. And I'm so happy that you were able to be part of the Three Wise Men, to be one of the wise men. In fact, yeah, I can't even listen to that song anymore without we three kings. It's like yeah.
It's funny how I wiggled my way in there and became a focal point of the show.
Well, you IT guys are like that, right? The tech guys always muscle their way in. But we were glad to have you. Every day, Chris said, this wouldn't have been the same without Pat. We really need it. And Maria, too. Adding her in, partway through was kind of a risk, considering we were the Three Wise Men, Right. But it's like that old Blackadder joke, right?
Yeah.
3 twits, and there's only 2 of them. but she just rounded it out and kind of took it to a whole new level. So.
Yeah, it was funny to see the evolution of that, and then take from that to bring different components and things to PatFacts. And
and that's what I mean. It's kind of evolved on, then out of its own entity and over into, what you're doing here. So yeah, I love it. It's fantastic. Hopefully that evolution will continue as I embark on, putting something out there to share with people myself and get back on the air again. Hopefully that same evolution will scoop me up and lift me up to doing something with great impact.
Yeah, we'll definitely keep us posted. Let us know when you're debuting, and we'll make sure to pass that along as always, and pass it on.
Yeah.
Evening, Natty. Welcome in. Good to see you. Natty Blake, Natty, or Nads, as she goes by sometimes.
Nads, love it.
Natty, I have to. I was going to save this for later, but we'll start with it really quick before we go. Blake and I had a kind of a pre-meeting the other day, and he was going over some examples of what he would say, and he'll talk about how vision boards are very specific. And he mentioned some people may think a picture of you with 1,000 cats is a failure, and some people may think it's perfect. And I said, Natty's the perfect example of that. She'll think that's perfect. Her and 1,000 cats. That's probably the center of her vision board. So you were in our thoughts the other night, Natty. Your reputation precedes you, I guess.
Yeah. That's right. As soon as you started telling the story, I went, this is Nadia.
Yeah. She says, yep, my dream.
Yep.
Her and her cats. So one day now.
Cats, I'm too allergic. I built up a tolerance with dogs, but I noticed I was away from my dog for 2 or 3 months. And the first time I went and spent, more than 5 minutes with him, I'm sneezing.
Oh, right. Yeah.
He's not a hugely allergenic dog. He's a little short-haired dog, right? So he's not a little big short-haired dog. But even still, it just got to me because I'd been away from him. So
yeah, it doesn't take long.
No.
Once you lose it, you don't use it, you lose it.
That's
just
right.
Like when we go to the gym and things like that, we want to keep up that.
Yeah, the gym. Yeah, that's what that means.
So we'll get to start as again, just as we, I guess, kind of refresh those who maybe haven't been in, or yourself, Blake, back in October, I think it was, but in September, early October, we started talking about this year, 2023, and much like yourself, I know you're big on this as well, goal setting and planning before January 1st, so we can have plans in place, systems in place, do any trial and error we need to, so we can have good positive momentum heading into 2023 and have some progress made almost toward our goal, or at least be ready to start rather than trying to panic and react on January 1st. So we talked about goal setting. We talked about our theme words for 2023. Mine is focus, which ties in with vision and vision boards, I guess. And we've shared ours. And we talked about contingency plans for when things come up, because they will. And we discussed vision boards just briefly. And I mentioned right away, I thought of you and having you come on and chat about that to give people kind of that visual representation and that cue and that reminder. We talk about setting alarms on our phones and having the alarms label with our theme word or our goal to remind us, have that visual cue. So I thought it'd be great to have you on and talk about vision boards and what it is, the different types of vision boards that maybe not many people are familiar with. And just before I let you jump in there, we'll get our hello from our fan, Bonnie. Welcome in, Bonnie. Bonnie, Natty beats you in tonight, first overall, but you get first on Facebook. So I'll give you a silver star for that, for your chart tonight. But always a big supporter of Blake and I and our foolishness online. So great to have you here, Bonnie. Thanks for popping in. And Blake, with that, I'll turn over to you. If you want to start, we'll touch base on our vision boards.
You bet. Yeah. And Bonnie, hello. I haven't talked to you in a while. We did exchange some pleasantries on New Year, but prior to that, I haven't seen much. So sorry about my absence. And it's nice to see that you're still out there supporting. And I'm looking forward to catching up and reconnecting with you and with everybody that I haven't seen since, last summer, pretty much. So, but to start with, it's great, Patrick, because you're talking about focus. And that's exactly what a vision board is. It's about focus. It's about clarity and sharpening your focus. And if you have been following Pat and you've been doing the good work of getting those resolutions built up in October or November, at least December, not waiting till the last second, then this is a great time to hit the vision board project, because this is going to re-clarify some of those things that you put into effect a month or 2 months ago, and get these resolutions into that visual vortex, that place where you can look in and see your visions, cut out the world, and have your visions come at you in bright color and get you going. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to share some photos of my vision board, or my vision book. I'll talk about the difference in a second. It's pretty easy, pretty clear. But as I share these few pages from my book, I'm going to touch on what I believe are the 5 points to consider with vision boarding, vision booking, or basically visualizing is what you're doing here. This is, one of your first steps in powerful visualizing. So as I go through, I'll just touch on the 5 points, and I call them points because, point number 1, I'll just jump right to it, is rule number 1, there are no rules. Very important to understand with a vision board. This is your thing. There are no rules here.
I love
what
those rules.
Basically, kind of like a template. It's kind of a template, kind of guideline just to get you started. So this is just, and then you can add, you can take away, you can whatever. So Patrick, if you want to throw up the graphics there on the screen, there we go. Pardon me, the occasional cough. I was sick over Christmas and I'm still hanging on a bit. The doctor said I have to limit how much I talk. So I said, well, so much for that.
Yikes.
So what you got here, first off, is, I think, the epitome of no rules. Okay. My Vision Book by Blake Miles. It's what's it? I'm trying to think. The guy from Henry Gibson from Laugh-In, right? And he was A Story by Henry Gibson. That's what I was thinking of. My Vision Book. What I Did Last Summer.
Actually, Deep Thoughts by Jack Handley.
Thoughts by Jack. That's right. So I mean, this is really kind of tacky and silly and goofy, and you do not have to have it as part of your vision board, your vision book. You don't have to have titling, cover pages, dust jackets, whatever. But you can if you want. So I just wanted to share this, otherwise somewhat pointless cover page here, because this is, rule number 1, no rules. So I wanted to have a cover page because this is just a one picture that shows me my life, my best life. This is me waking up every morning. It's not really POV. If it was POV, I'd be sitting in one of those submerged shays, but I'm just standing back a little here. And this is just a representation of my best life on any given day. So I wanted that to be my cover page. Some days, that's all I got to look at. Just look at that and remember, yep, that's right. Here we go. And so it's a wonderful way of really bringing that thought home of no rules. Do it however works for you. No one else needs to see this. Really important point. Nobody else ever needs to see this. If you have a person or people in your support circles who you trust, who you know, the only critical thoughts they put forward is holding you accountable to your actions, and they make you, go for your dreams. Great. If you trust someone like that, share your vision board with them, because all they'll do is hold you accountable to the vision you've created. But apart from that, don't share this with anyone. This is yours. This is your private thing. This is not for you to present to somebody so they can critique it. This is for you, and it's a trigger mechanism. We're going to talk a lot more about that. Remember that. Just kind of put that aside for now. This is a trigger mechanism. That's what it's for, and it won't trigger anyone except you. It may trigger somebody else, but it'll trigger them to, to step on it or mess around with it or whatever. So just don't worry about them. Just don't show it to anybody unless you truly trust them to really feed your vision. So rule number 1, absolutely no rules. So again, following that same idea of no rules, here you can see it's maybe a little bit cut off, but it says my ideal day, because your ideal life is your ideal day over and over and over again, as much as possible, right? So that's why that's the page that I start with, is my ideal day. But again, no rules. You might do something else. You might do my ideal life on one whole page. You might do your day on half the page, and your ideal week on another part of it. Frame it any way you want. This is a great starting point in that template, is to say, my ideal day. Because here's, look at all these pictures of everything. And of course, I know Patrick's looking at this, just nodding his head. Bonnie probably too. You know me pretty well. You go, camping, Aruba, grandkids. Yeah, that's Blake's life. But we got the reading and the exercise and all sorts of stuff. And again, no rules. Whatever rings your bell, that's what goes on your vision board, on your vision book. And now, as you're following along with this template, remember I said it's a guide. So you may add pages that I don't have on here. I didn't include my hobbies because for me, my work is my hobby, right? What I do is my whole life. That's everything. I have come through some things in my life. And no matter how, Patrick and I were talking about this the other day, no matter how high a window they drop me from, I land on my feet, talking about cats. And I just want to show people how to do the same. I can't help somebody prevent occasionally and thrown out the window. It happens, right? Life tosses us out the window, and sometimes it tosses out a real high one. But I can show people how to land on their feet when it does, and that's what I do. So that's my whole life. That's my work. That's my everything. I might have a hobby, like I do enjoy building models. Model railroad. I have a tank I've been working on for a couple of years now. And, I like to do that little bit of, delicate, detailed work. But for me, that's complete escapism. It's not part of my vision. So it doesn't go on my vision board. I don't have it on there. But for you, your hobby might be a very, very important, integral part of your life, your joy, and your success. In which case, put it in there. Make sure there's a picture in there somewhere that triggers your remembrance of that important thing that you do in your life. So once again, no rules. Take this template as a starting point and go from there. There's pages on here you won't include. There's some on here that I haven't done yet. You'll add. You do whatever you want. So these are kind of the basics to get you started and get you inspired to create those collages and collections of images that trigger your joy, your focus, and your life's purpose.
Like, just with the hobbies, would you recommend, just thinking as you're saying that, maybe someone who wants to be a little more efficient or consistent with taking part in their hobbies, that maybe it would be good to have them on the vision board as they're trying to make it a more consistent part of their life and their routines?
In fact, you might have a vision board that's just about your personal relaxation time. You might want to have a board or a book that is about your work and your life's purpose, because that may be one component of your life. For me, it's almost the whole thing, other than the family time, the time I spend with my family. But my work is part of that, because creating the balance is part of what I teach and part of what I try to live. And my family and my joy and my love for my family, and the way that my connection to my family helped to change and reshape my life when I went from being Mr. Grumpy to being Mr. Gumpy. And, so that's an integral part of my life. So that's part of it. But for somebody else, family might be one component of life, and you have an entire board or an entire book devoted to how I get the most and give the most to my family. And there might be another for your work or your life's purpose. There might be another for your relaxation, hobbies, and special pursuits. Aruba is on my my book. Definitely, my book has Aruba in it. But I'll tell you right now, this will come as no surprise to anyone. I have an Aruba vision book. Yeah, I do. And it's made up of components of living there, relocating there, running the retreats there. I even have a little memory section. And that's an important thing too, as we will talk about in just a couple of minutes. There's a memory section, because your vision board should not be a collection of memories. This is not a scrapbook. This is a collage of triggers, right? The pictures, obviously the pictures from the past, because at the moment we are not as humans capable of creating pictures of the future. Almost, I'm sure, very soon.
I'm working on it.
And we're working on it, yeah. So there are pictures from the past, but make sure that they're not reflections of the past or reminiscences of the past or regrets. Make sure none of those pictures have a regret in them. Make sure the pictures of a joyous memory and a reflection of something that is to come in your life every day henceforth, so that the picture doesn't trigger regret, remorse, doubt, fear, whatever. No, it has to trigger your path, your vision, your view for the future, and the optimism that you have that you're going to live that future. Very, very important. And I will touch on that again very, 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 very soon. In fact, I will just quickly jump to the very next picture on here. So this is my health. Okay. So this again is just an example of how you make it what you want to. For some of you, my health will be all encompassing. It won't have its own page. For some, your health is such an integral part of the way you live. You're always living a healthy life, that you may not feel that your vision board needs, a lot of attention to that. Mine does. That's always been part of my struggle. is staying healthy and staying fit despite my lifestyle, my weight, my genes, etc. So for me, it was an impact thing. I wanted to have a whole page that reminds me that I like to have fresh fruits and vegetables and lift some weights and stretch and get out in nature, be with the people that are special to me, and get on a bike with my dog. And apparently when I do that, I mysteriously transform into a woman. But I picked that picture because of the dog. That looks like my dog. And for me, that was more important to trigger the picture of, the dog that looked like my dog rather than me. Not that I would complain if I had a figure like that. That would look fantastic. And I definitely envy the hair. Even in silhouette, I can see how lovely that hair is. But but you see how it even, it's a picture of a female, and it still for me triggers fun thoughts and a reminder of something I love to do. The sunset is one of the best parts of that, or the sunrise. I'm not sure which it is. I think it's the sunset. So all of that, these images don't necessarily say, this isn't my plan. This isn't, this is what I'll do. And these are the things. It reminds me of things that I'll do and things I'll undertake. But it triggers the thing in my brain that gets me thinking about stuff. It gets me on track and on focus with my dreams and how I plan to accomplish them. So be very clear that this is not a memoir. I guess the best way to put it. A vision board is not a memoir. It's not visions of the past and reminding you of what you've done. This is the life that will be, not the life that was. So if pictures trigger a remembrance in your mind of the life that you had, get rid of them, get them off there, replace them. And keep going and going through. I'll stop right now and say this. You can complete a vision board in a few minutes. It's really easy, especially if you do it digitally and cheat like I do. If you're doing the cut and paste, it might take you a little longer. And if you want to do that, if you're, some people are tangible that way, right? They got to do the cut and the paste to make it real. Then do it, please. I do it this way because I'm lazy. I want to be able to change the pictures whenever I want. And that's what I do. No rules. Do it your way. But do it in a way that you can easily switch pictures in and out and change it up. Because you are, Nads, that's right. The life you're manifesting. Exactly. And this is your visual manifest right here. This is the manifesto in pictures. And so those pictures, you've got to be able to make them what they need to be. And they'll change. So you can complete the vision board in a few minutes. You'll never finish it. The board will never be finished. Because as you reach one vision, another will arise, or it will evolve into something more. Always learning, always building, always growing is life. So if your vision board is a static set of pictures, it's the same pictures for 3 years in a row, then either you're not using it properly, or you just don't get it. Okay, so make it so you can change those pictures up, or change the whole board, refurb the whole thing once a year, whatever you need to do. If you look at a picture and it makes you think of the past and brings out doubts and fears and anything like that, it doesn't trigger a vision of the future and a joy and a laugh and a giggle and excitement and motivation, whatever, then that picture doesn't belong there. Get rid of it and replace it with the picture that triggers the joy for you. It's okay if there's a happy reminiscence in the midst of it, because as we said, they're pictures from the past, or they're stock photos, as most of these ones are. I like stock photos wherever I can, because there's no fear that I'm looking at my own memoir.
Right.
So, mix them in there by all means, because they're nice generic pictures that'll keep your brain clean. But if you put a picture that is something of your own past and you have a calm and happy reminiscence, that's okay. But if it's not somehow triggering a move to the future, then it's being wasted. It's wasting space. Get rid of it and replace it with a better picture. This is not a memoir. We spend our life picturing the past, right? And then we build our future around the visions of the past. So that's why we keep doing the same things over and over. So what a vision board will do more than anything else, if it's built right and used right, is it'll break that cycle. It will break the cycle where you build your future on pictures of the future. Even though they may be images from the past, they trigger future thought. So a vision board is a great way to break that cycle of building your future based on thoughts from the past. They'll break that cycle. So it's great.
I think I just wanted to jump in here, Blake, but I was going to think of a spot to bring it up, and it seems like a great spot since you mentioned not living in the past and even using stock photos. Just thinking of, unfortunately, our fitness industry doesn't always do the best job of providing idealistic or realistic types of photos. So I just want to remind people, if you have health and wellness and fitness on your vision boards, just be mindful of the pictures you're selecting, if they're stock photos and if they're pictures of you. Like Blake said, something that triggers your future self of where you're going to be. But a reminder that some of our stock photos and things you can find are typically touched up and airbrushed, and strict diets are followed to get a certain look and aesthetic to them. You notice Blake's pictures here are her fully clothed or silhouetted, or just more of the motion and the activity as opposed to the appearance. And that's what we like to talk about here. Being operationally fit is being fit to fight the daily battles life hands you. It doesn't matter if you have 6 abs or 12 abs or 1 ab or how big your arms are. It's about being fit and functional. So just keep that in mind as well when you're picking some of these photos. Again, health and wellness typically gets a little too much, too fancy with their touch-ups and their airbrushing. Just be mindful of that as well. And like Blake said, if they're pictures of you, make sure they're triggering where you want to be, not so much that regret or that remorse from the past. So again, sorry, Blake, to jump in. And since I've interrupted you already, I noticed Nads earlier mentioned she has a notebook, a vision board notebook that she uses to plan her actual big vision board that she makes on a cork board. I thought that was kind of a cool idea. So
very cool idea. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, you definitely want to do drafts, especially if you're doing cut and paste, because it's hard to go back. You know, if you're doing it the digital way, you can jump right into it. But even then, it's nice to do a little bit of a draft and build yourself up to it. Spend 2 or 3 days just taking more note of things around you. If you open up a magazine, look at the pictures. And then, you know, if you're not going to wreck somebody's magazine or whatever, tear it out, take it home, use it later, you know, whatever. But yeah, just, you know, kind of be aware of it around you. And Pat, you made such a great point, because if you look at my health page, you see it's really generic, right? Like all these folks, they're in okay shape and everything, but you know, nothing phenomenal. The fruits and vegetables, you know, they're pretty generic. And even the weights, you can't really look at those and tell too much how much weight it is. It's just a reminder. And of course, you know, the picture with the dog, it's not even a dude. So, you know, there's no comparison points here. There's nothing. These are just triggers, the things that remind me of how delicious fruit is. I find that picture makes me just want to go and have some berries. You know? And the vegetables too. And I mean, those maybe aren't everybody's selection of vegetables, but I find that picture yummy. And again, it doesn't matter if everyone else on the planet goes, that's not a very nice picture of vegetables. It makes me want to go have some veggies. So boom, right? And the sunset and the stretch, and that, you know, that stretch reminds me, I didn't stretch last night before I went to bed. Probably why my back hurts. Just a trigger to remind me, stay on track, Blake. Stay on track. It would take you less than 10 minutes to have done your whole stretch last night, and you didn't do it. You fell asleep in front of faulty towers, which is okay every once in a while. But I do regret it today. And now I'm staring at my vision board going, yeah, don't forget tonight. Don't forget tonight. See how it keeps me on track with the littlest thing, but little steps lead to big success. I just throw it in there.
I don't have a plug.
We always have to plug on each other's shows. So this one is a wonderful example, again, of you do you. Some people will not have family as a page in their vision board, their vision book, or as an image in the vision board, whatever. Family is a very personal thing. And for some of us, family is not part of the topic roster when we're discussing pursuing our goals and dreams. Sometimes family, let's face it, that nobody can extinguish them or stomp on them more than family sometimes. If you know my family, I have a pretty big family tree. I'm Scottish, so, oh man, you know, big family tree. And you'll notice this only includes my immediate family and my dog, of course. So there's a great number of people on my family tree that are not in here. And that's because their images would trigger feelings of self-doubt and remorse and bitterness and negative things. I won't bore you with the details. And I'm sure you know, every one of you can think of a family member that does that. Well, their picture isn't going to be on my vision board. My vision board is about my children and my grandchildren. And my Nana and Opa are the two folks in the bottom right-hand corner there. You know, special people in my life that enhance my life. And all the people in this picture have contributed to me being a better person over the last 10, 20, 30 years. And they'll continue to enhance my evolution as a good person, doing important things in the world for myself, for my family, my community, and the world. So every time I see this picture, I am triggered by nothing but joy and resolution. I am triggered by resolution and determination to continue to be the kind of person that everybody in this picture already thinks I am. You know, especially the dog. I've always said that's my favorite thing. The prayer, every person's prayer. Please, God, let me be the person my dog already thinks I am.
Preach.
Right? And all the other people in this photo too. They think I'm a really good person that's really worthwhile and that the world's a better place for me being in it. So when I look at this picture, I'm triggered with the determination to be exactly what they think I am. And that is a great life's purpose.
Love it. That's awesome.
So just to wrap it up super quick, then I'm just going to go to my favorite one. And this covers all the points. No rules. You do you. This is not a memoir. This covers all those points that I've spoken to up till now. In the template that I borrowed to get started, it actually had a page, My Vacations. And I was going to just skip it because I said, well, I'm not a vacation person. You know, I like to get away, but if I get away, it's to run a retreat. It's to be in a retreat. It's to do something, and it's to do something meaningful. I don't believe in escapism. I think it's a horrible waste of life. If you're living a life that you have to escape from, you need to fix your life, right? That's how I feel about it. So I was going to skip it, and I thought, no, I got a better idea. I'm going to have some fun. So I had a My Vacations page, but all it says is I live in Aruba, so vacations are irrelevant. So you can do something like that if you want. You can put a page in there that's just for you. Although I have to tell you, this is the one I share with people more than any other, because this really sums it up. This is what a vision board is about. Listen to that. I live in Aruba. Okay, I don't. I live in Picton, Ontario, Canada. But I'm going to live in Aruba. But every time you say I'm going to, I might, I wish I could, I hope to, I plan to, you send a confusing message to your subconscious, right? I'm sure many of you already know that. When I say I live in Aruba, my subconscious goes, there's a lot of snow on the ground for Aruba. It catches the anomaly, right? But my subconscious brain then gets on a mission to fix the anomaly. And it doesn't fix the anomaly by talking me out of Aruba. It fixes the anomaly by saying, Blake, we need to travel a little this way. Right? It pushes me toward the dream because it pushes me away from the anomaly. Very powerful thing, our subconscious minds, and we abuse them constantly. One way you can make it up to your subconscious mind is to build a page in your book or a whole board of visions that through words and images tell your subconscious mind, this is the life, this is the one. And your subconscious will say, okay, well, then we have some work to do, don't we? We got some changes we need to make. Let's get on that. And your subconscious mind will be driving you every day to fixing the anomalies so that your life is the one you say it is instead of the one you seem to be in. It prevents you from falling back. So if you do put text on, and it's not necessary, again, you don't have to, but you're welcome to. You can put words on a vision board. If you do, make sure the text is in the present. Not the past. No past allowed on a vision board. And the future should be in the images and in the trigger that the images create. But all talk is in the present. It is happening. I live in Aruba, so vacations are irrelevant. So that's my fun vacation page. That's a real special gift I gave to myself because I look at this every day and I go, yep. And I stop for a moment and say, am I on track? And if I'm not, I get back on track and I get moving forward. So very, very powerful stuff. And this again is another example of, what you might choose. You might have one that says your home rather than your house. Some might have my house and have pictures of every single room. This is what my house is going to look like on the outside, on the inside. There's my bedroom. Here's my bathroom. Some might have my home rather than my house, and it'll show the experiences going on inside the living space rather than the stuff you have, the amenities you have in your house. Again, whatever triggers you. This triggers me because this was a house that was actually just a few yards down from the villa that we stayed at when we were in Aruba. And the moment I saw it, I said, that's my house. And everyone went, what? There's these gorgeous houses everywhere. And there was this little simple whitewash with a little adobe roof. And it's like, why is that the house you would choose? And to this day, I'll tell you, this is a symbolic photo, because not only is this actually a representation of how I want to live physically, but this is how I want to live in my whole life. And the term basically is simple but glorious. Simple but glorious. And that is the way to live simply but gloriously, is to fill your life with the collection of experiences, and as opposed to collecting stuff, material items.
Mm-hmm.
So my house is going to be small because I don't need room for a lot of crap. I just need enough room to build some incredible memories and have some great experiences. And I'm not going to spend a ton of money on a building, because I want to spend my money on the experiences. And so this picture reminds me, simple and glorious. That's how I want my life to be. That's how I want my home to be. That's how I want to live and be and exist. And this is this visual trigger that constantly reminds me. In fact, now that I look at it, I'm thinking I might just put simple but glorious in where I just put it in a little text on the side. I don't need to, because it reminds me instantly as soon as I look at it, but it might be nice to just add it as an extra thing, just a little more trigger for my mind to go, yeah, live a life that's simple but glorious. It's about making memories, making experiences, not collecting crap. So there you go. That's my really profound one. And to round it out, this is a really fun one, and this is all about keep it fun and keep it positive. Obviously, my Aruba one was fun, but this takes it to a whole new level. This is my office. Again, in the template that I used, it had a page for my office. And I thought, well, I'm not going to bother talking about that. I'm not dwelling on my business. And then again, I thought, you know what? I saw this picture, this horrible panoramic picture I took. Look how bent and screwed up it is. This was the first time I'd ever tried that technology. But as a result, I did get this lovely picture of our villa. And there's Laura. She never was out of the water. I'm surprised she didn't come back as a prune. But so yeah, this is my office. There's my desk, the lovely umbrella covered patio table. And my boardroom is over there by the palm tree. And of course, Laura, my executive assistant. She's 4 in that picture. She's 12 now. And she fully plans on coming to Aruba with me and running my retreats. So she will be my executive assistant. But the most important thing is keep it fun, keep it positive. As I said to Patrick the other night when we were chatting, I said, I'm going to write that down and say it for sure. This is a vision board, not a derision board. Mm-hmm. This is not to have pictures in it that remind you of things you didn't do right. Even if that triggers you to think about doing it better in the future, that's great, good for you, but don't do that. These visions have to trigger joy in your mind, and joy for the future and the present, the right now. This is exactly how I'm living my life now, and I'm going to live it even more so in the future. And these images always need to trigger that thought in your mind of where you're going and where you're going to go. And then think of it as if you're doing it right now. That's why it's not called a future board. It's called a vision board, because it's visions of things yet to come, but it's visions presented to you as though they are transpiring right now, which is the most empowering thing you can possibly do for yourself in creating a vision for the future, is create it so that it's in front of you here and now, as though you're living it in the moment. It's the penultimate fake it till you make it. Live the life you plan to live right now as much as you can, and add more in as you go. And eventually you'll wake up one morning and go, I am living it. I'm already doing it. It's happening. Think about everything you've done in your life. You do it gradually, little by little, right? This adds in and that. And next thing you know, you're walking. And next thing you know, you're talking. And then you know your alphabet and the times tables. That's how you did it. That's how you should do your dreams. Just keep doing it until you're doing it. You're not going to suddenly go, ta-da! No, you'll just wake up one day and go, I'm here. I did it. And then you'll be on to the next challenge. So keep it fun. Keep it positive. Your best life is one that lacks a focus on negativity. It's not, and I say that as opposed to it's about positivity, because no, it's not. If you're leading your best life based on constant positivity, you're going to be disappointed. Your best life focuses on a lack of negativity. And that's the difference between thinking you can go through life never being thrown out of the 10th story window, and leading a life where you know you might, but you will land on your feet.
Love it. Nice. And again, that ties in so well to what we talk about here from a fitness perspective, that we can't guarantee that you maybe won't have an illness or a disease or a sickness or an injury if you're physically fit, but the chances are less. You focus less on that by being active and leading a healthy lifestyle, then that leads into similar tie into there too. I love all the crossing, and I do owe you, Blake, one plug for your little steps to big success. I mentioned earlier, Blake and I have a fun unofficial contest where we try to plug our own shows in the other person's show. So I had to, that's why I had popped off screen there. I saw my
Pat usually tricks me into doing it, because at some point I'll always say, so if you did that, give yourself a pat on the back.
Yeah. Yeah, Blake plugs me more than himself on his own show. So right. Great. Thanks so much, Bonnie. Bonnie's going to pop off. Great to see you. Great to be back with Blake and I and having you here. So enjoy your evening, and thanks for being here as always, Bonnie, and supporting both of us. So we'll see you again next time. A lot of comments as you're going through. I just wanted to pop back through them as we wrap up here. Make sure. Natty again mentioned manifesting, as we talked about your vision board and Aruba abundance and that sort of thing. I just want to let you know, when you live in Aruba, make sure you lock your doors, because Nads is going to steal your house, she says.
Oh, so, you don't need to, Nads. You're welcome anytime. Come on
there
in.
You go. See,
the only reason I'll have a big house is to have enough rooms for everyone to be there with me.
There we go. See, I'll see you there, Nads, because I've got a room booked already. So
that's great. He does.
And then that says as well that your house triggers peace for her, is the feeling it brought up.
Yeah, I agree. It is peaceful. You should see it in person. When you're standing on the street at sunrise in Aruba, and all you can hear are the chickens in the background a little bit. There's chickens all over the street. And there's just as the sun rises slowly and everything's quiet, and you just look at this house peacefully sitting there. Fortunately, I met the lady who owned the house early on, so that she didn't call the police when she found me standing there staring at her.
There's a man on my porch at sunrise.
I told her one day I was going to buy it, and she said, well, you call me when you're on your way and we'll see what we can work out. So
nice. Perfect. Yeah, and then Mimi, welcome in. Good to see you. Happy New Year. Mimi loved your simple and glorious. She loved that phrase, and it's definitely fits in. I thought it would be a great name for a show. Maybe.
You know, I've thought of it a few times. It's just, again, it's a bit obscure. It's like, I'm not sure people will, get it. And I always put my picture on, so I don't really want to have a picture of me and have simple and glorious beside it. Although,
fit, though.
Well, let's face it, I am obviously quite simple. And
I think you're glorious. Some feedback on The Office. Nads thinks that's a glorious office. And Mimi says it looks a lot like hers. So maybe you'll see her. Maybe you guys will be...
you go.
Yeah, maybe it'll be cohorts in Aruba. That's cubicle mates at your beachfront cubicle.
You have great taste in offices, Mimi.
And I thought of a way to promote myself in your office. I'm going to design a pat on your back personal fitness paperweight to hold all your papers down for the breeze. So, and that'll tie into my desk fit program.
Love it. Yes. Because the trade winds do blow strong. They're warm and beautiful, but yes, you definitely got to lock your papers down.
And Nad's mentioned a nice point here. It's about reality, not living in your imagination. So having that creativity behind it as well.
That's a brilliant point, because too often with the vision board, if you're not using the right pictures, you're not triggering. And then it's a scrapbook. And that's exactly, you're right. A scrapbook or a photo album, that's about living in your imagination and your past. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing wrong with that. We all love a nice photo album,
Right.
But this is a whole different thing. This is about living your reality and putting it in pictures. Absolutely. Excellent point.
Mm-hmm. And when I just welcome in Pep, good to see you. DJ Pep in here joining us. Do you like espressos, Blake?
Occasionally I do. Yeah, I'm not a huge coffee drinker, but yes, every once in a while I like a nice cognac and an espresso. Yeah.
Pep is known to have multiple espressos in a day. He's a bit of a guru, apparently. So I haven't met him in person yet. We're virtual friends through Twitch streams and DJ streams, but we're looking forward to meeting up soon. But apparently the reputation is that he's a bit of an aficionado when it comes to espresso. So we'll bring him to Aruba and he can make some up for us.
That's cool. And you talk about a small world. I have a friend named Pep as well.
Oh, nice. Well, there you go.
That's your name. So I don't know if your Pep, that's his actual name. My Pep is his nickname. But
nice.
It's just interesting that we would both know someone who refers to themselves as Pep.
Right?
I love it. a little pep in your life. That's the key. So
a little pep in your step.
I just think I like a person who feels like their name should be Pep, or who someone else has decided to call them Pep.
Yeah.
Okay, you must be a cool person.
Yeah, exactly. And just to I guess to wrap us up here, and again, guys, if you're tuning in, this will be posted on Twitch and Facebook, LinkedIn. I'm going to re-air it on Twitter and YouTube later, my YouTube page. And I'll try to throw it up on Instagram later as well for those. And we couldn't be live on Instagram this evening. We'll put it up there later. But Pep definitely has pep. Naz is vouching for him. So I think they've met in real life so far. I haven't made it to the events yet, but they've met. So she can vouch for him there. So yeah, we'll post this up. Be sure to check back again. Check back with previous episodes of PatFacts on YouTube and Facebook, where again, back in October, we talked about gratitude and goal setting and vision boards and contingency plans and theme words for the year to really put all these steps into place. And hopefully you've been with us all that time and setting those things up. But if not, the best time to start, Peter Twist, is now. Go ahead, go through those, make it part of your work. We try to tie in maybe killing two birds, one stone here. Maybe again, every Wednesday is your night to work on yourself. You watch PatFacts and you grab your journal, grab your books, grab your vision boards, and work on some of these goals and tasks that you're looking to work on as well. And again, try to make it part of your routine, just like everything else. And the one part I wanted to highlight here with what you said, and I've never thought of it this way, but maybe I missed something, but you mentioned how a vision board is visualizing, it's visualization. And if you've studied high performance or success or athletes, you know how important visualization is to them, seeing what's going to happen, seeing themselves hitting that game-winning shot over and over again, and hearing the crowd and smelling the ice or the court or the field, wherever it is, and going through those reps in their mind so that when it actually happens, they've done it, they've practiced it so much they can handle that. And I think this is a great reminder that a vision board is visualization, because visualization is a skill, and it's a skill we have to practice and acquire. And for someone to sit and close their eyes and really see and sense all those things, it's difficult at first. And I think this is a great way to create that vision, create that way to visualize, work on your visualization by having that trigger in front of you, like Blake mentioned, and then maybe your board's not with you one day, or you're out somewhere, or you're away and didn't bring it on your phone. You can sit and maybe close your eyes and at least have that board or that vision book to kind of flip through your mind and see and build that skill of visualization. And then you can take that further and expand it. And maybe your visualizations turn into your vision board and vice versa. You can kind of create that cycle, like Blake said. It's never completed. We're always kind of working on it. So I thought that was a really great tip and a great point to kind of bring through, that a lot of people struggle with visualization because they think it should just happen. But again, it's a skill we have to learn and build on and grow. So what a great way to do it, by creating visual stimulus that you can look at that creates that visualization in your mind and helps you develop and grow that skill. That's that crawl before you walk sort of mentality of learning a skill, building it, and then developing the awareness to do it on your own. So I thought that was a really good point to reiterate and to bring up and to tie into things.
It's awesome.
Anything nice says here, mindfulness mixed with manifesting. I like that. Great stuff, man. That's really
brilliant, because mindfulness is being in the moment. And that's, you have to live even the thoughts of the past, because we do learn things from the past, but we really want to have an eye on the future. But both of those have to be in our present, because as we know, the past is gone and no longer exists. The future is imaginary. So you have to be in the moment, and that's mindfulness. But you mix it with the manifestation of the next present moment. The future is your present as you're building it, and that's manifesting. So yeah, when you mix the mindfulness and the manifesting, it's great, and it makes great alliteration as well.
Right, we love that here.
But it also, it blends that present with the future, because even at your most zen, when you're really living in the present moment, if you still don't have some vibration moving toward the future, what's the point? Then you're just living moment to moment. You're not building anything. So I love that. Mindfulness and manifestation together. They got to work together. I love it.
Put that on a mug, Natty.
Or a hat.
Yeah, or a hat. There you go. Yeah, Natty, you're on a roll tonight. Look at me being smart, she says.
There you go. I'm going to pop this in. I don't know if you can see this, if everyone can see that, if you can copy it over. I threw it in the private chat. I am going to be reopening up the Aruba Abundance page in the coming week. And since we spoke a little bit about it, and given Mimi's taste for offices, and I thought maybe some of your viewers might enjoy swinging over and having a look. We don't have a retreat on the board right at the moment. We're hoping to get something together for this year. But what I am going to do is I'm going to be posting a lot more images, visions, and things about Aruba. Because a few people expressed that they missed it. So, and this is like a perfect time of year to be posting some stuff like that. So swing on over to, if you can't copy it or write it down, it's pretty easy. Go over to Facebook and type in Aruba Abundance. I guarantee you nobody else is using it. That's me. So, and just jump on it. It's just a page. You don't have to join or anything. Just come and have a look at it. And yes, it is simple but glorious. Absolutely. Just come and have a look. And I'm going to post every day with at least a nice picture. And as Pat knows, we have a dear friend, Amal, who lives in Aruba, and she's constantly sending me new images, pictures, updates, etc. So we're going to go back to the Aruba Abundance, because Aruba Abundance it's an event, but it's also a way of life. It's a way of thinking. And I would say, Aruba Abundance is kind of the vision board way of thinking. It really is. Right. That's mindfulness and manifestation. That's kind of what Aruba Abundance is. It's the abundance that comes from being in the middle of pure joy. They call it one happy island, and that's why I love it so much. So, so swing on by and have a look.
And that was perfect. Again, us being two people, one brain. I was just about to say, if you have anything to plug or share, feel free to let us know. So,
well, that's the one, because that's what I think will bring people the most joy and pleasure and entertainment for right now. Mm-hmm. And hopefully, at some point in time, I'll be able to announce that we got a retreat coming up, because you and I are overdue to party, my friend, and I would love to have some of these really awesome viewers of yours come join us too. I think we'd have some fun. Sounds like Pep could DJ.
He could, yeah. Yeah, he's a high level DJ.
I love it.
So between the two of us, we could definitely throw some stuff. And he loves to dance on cardboard. He likes to break dance on cardboard. So we need fresh cardboard.
We'll have cardboard poolside, and then we'll drop some hard mixes down by the beach.
Love it. All set. I think, and again, we've Blake's looked at this before, and we've even talked about myself kind of assisting with Aruba Abundance in the past and leading some sessions or some breakouts and different things. So stay tuned to that. Join the Facebook page. So you can kind of stay up to date and see the images and the shots and the experiences that Blake had in Aruba when he visited there all those years ago, and why that kind of triggered that vision board and that Aruba Abundance mentality that he has, and what's to come from himself as far as retreats and different things. And as he mentioned, he's going to live there and run the retreats out of there. So you'll be able to make it a yearly event, a vacation, couples retreat, whatever you kind of want to build out of it. So stay tuned for that, for big things coming from Blake. And he does live videos and things like this as well, podcasts. So a little bit of a hiatus he's been on. As he mentioned earlier, he's making his on-screen return here with us on PatFacts. So thanks so much for that, Blake. We really appreciate you being here with us. Pep is in, I think. He's just said OMG. And a bunch of faces. So he's in, I think, some breakdancing and some probably some cannonballs in the pool. If I know Pep, how I think I know Pep, we'll probably have some of those too. There we go. Nat says Pep will be your DJ. I'll be the fitness coach, and she can be the bartender.
Oh,
you're all a whole team.
We are all set. There you go. And me, you'll give island tours.
And we've been an executive assistant already, so we're all set, really.
Love it. Well, Mimi, you'll have to work with a guy who calls himself Tony the Tiger. He's got a great big red bus, and he does the best island tours of Aruba ever. If any of you get down to Aruba, in the meantime, or if you don't drop by the page, whatever, let me pass that on to you as my insider tip. First order of business is book a tour with Tony the Tiger. And take the island tour. He'll take you to all these places that you only really want to see once. So it gets it all out of the way. And then he'll introduce you to a few spots, and he'll give you the layout of the island. It's amazing. It's not expensive, and it lays it all out for you. And then you can really enjoy yourself and know exactly what you want to go and do. So it's very cool. It's part of the abundance retreat for sure. So, and I promise you, if you come by, just for you guys, I will share some images from the aforementioned vision board, my Aruba vision book. I will put some pages of it right in just to show exactly what my vision for the days, weeks, and years to come is.
Awesome. And just put the link back in there if you can get it. I think Twitch, it should pop up. If not, Natty, let me know. We can repost it. Again, in Facebook, it'll be there, or send me a DM and I can direct you over as well if you can't find it somewhere. Or if you're watching this on Instagram, I can't link over again, send me a DM and I can get you the info as well. Just to kind of close up here, Natty kind of sums it up great here. I love this future we are manifesting. Yep. Definitely always great to have all our multiple communities together through our outlets with Facebook and Twitch and LinkedIn and Twitter and Instagram. Our communities here on PatFacts, Blake's communities. Bonnie, who was with us earlier, joined us on our show before through Blake and has been a constant supporter of me as well. So it's really great to see how we can create these communities like we talk about and spread our positivity pandemic, like we like to say here. And Blake and I don't have anything official to announce, but we both kind of know that at some point in the future, we'll be doing something together, some kind of in-person program or retreat or things together as well. And this is sort of another stepping stone working towards that. And those of you tuning in, you can kind of see how much fun it might be if we're putting something on, how we like to trick you into learning by having a good time. That's what I do anyway. So Pep says, Natty can buy, he has to make the espresso.
Yes, absolutely. In fact, at this point, I'm going to say the Aruba Abundance Retreat henceforth will have officially on its menu Pepspresso.
Pepspresso. There you go, Pep.
To be taken before meditation.
I love it. Just as we wrap up here, Blake, and thanks everyone for tuning in. Any last words or parting thoughts you want to share with anybody? Or
own to 2023. Own it. Somebody put me on the spot the other day and said, "What's your motto for 2023?" And I'm like, "Oh, I hadn't thought of it. I don't know, whatever." And so I quickly thought, and I said, 2023, it's all about me.
Nice, Blake Miles.
There you go. Make it all about you. Make 2023 about me, meaning you. And I think it's time. I think we all deserve that. And remember that when you're making it about yourself, you're still making it about the world anyways, because if your cup ain't full, you can't share with anybody.
So true, yeah. Love it. There we go. I just get it in there. 2023, it's all about me. Another mantra you can add to your list for the year. Those cues, those reminders that you have set up. Maybe put it on your vision board.
Yeah,
maybe you put it there to see what you're doing, and that reminder that it is about you. And that's all we have for tonight. Thanks everyone for tuning in. I'm just going to end on those words. I think 2023, make it all about me. Next week, we're going to talk about how to make 2023 a great year for you. I started this back in 2021 when everyone said, 21's got to be better than 20. It has to be. Well, it's only going to be a better year if we make it that way. We're going to go through what MAKE stands for, our acronym for making 2023 a great year. And again, it'll tie into our vision boards and some of the lessons we talked about last week as well. So, Natty, if you want to go ahead and to rate out from Twitch, that'd be awesome. Blake, thanks again for being here. Always great to have you on. Let's have you on again soon. We'll chat about some more topics. You can come on and or just come on and cause some trouble, whichever you like.
Yeah, I'll crash anytime, buddy.
Yeah, it'd be awesome. We'll have you on again soon. Stay safe, everyone. And remember, always make yourself the priority that you deserve to be by striving to be operationally fit. Stay safe. Take care, guys. Have a great night.